Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and welcome to the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. And you know I'm your host, Captain85, and we got an exciting guest today. I'm talking about green. Just think green. What do you think of green when you think about it? You think about collard green, you think about trees green, blooming. I'm talking about the one and only Cash Green from Virginia Beach City Council. He's here today, and I'm going to bring him on the stage. But I just want to let you know because we don't play no games. Not over here at the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. Cash Green is stopping by before he goes to his weekly meeting with the city council. But he's decided to say, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of time out with the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. And that's what he did. And he's here right now. Good afternoon, Mr. City Councilman.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's a pleasure to have you on the show because you're in my district, District 7. And just wanted to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy and because you're everywhere, you're always around town. And for those people that might be tuning in that may not be too familiar with the District 7, because I have a lot of people from different sections of Virginia Beach, tell them a little bit about your
Yes.
District 7 and the things that you're trying to do in the community.
So when you think of District 7, think of Tallwood High, Salem High,
Mm,
Regent University. Those are landmarks in District 7. Indian River Road that goes all the way down to Military Highway. We encompass College Park, and that is the heart of our district. And so, with that being said, the initiatives that I'm working on currently
mm,
is making sure that our residents have food. And so, I've partnered with a local food pantry, which is a 24-hour food pantry,
okay.
which is on the outskirts of our district, but when it comes to being hungry, it doesn't matter where you need to get the food. If they've got the food, that's where you're going to go. So it's making sure that residents who are the working class have food, have Pampers, have the stuff that they need to get them by till they get their next paycheck.
That's great to know. Great to know. And that's when you're supplying food, is there going to be supplying food for the seniors or everybody, for the kids that are out of school for the summer, or how's that? Uh,
So this organization is called Reset Inc. You can
mhm,
look it up online, Reset Inc.
okay.
And it came about, I did a tour of this food pantry and noticed that even though they sit on the military highway in what we call the trifecta, it services Virginia Beach,
Mhm,
Chesapeake, and Norfolk, but a lot of my residents from District 7 were going there to take advantage of the services. And so that made my ears tune to, I need to spread the word. And these are for the working class. This is not just people that are out and down. These are your working class who have paid their bills,
mhm,
but just needs something to keep them going. Food and fresh fruit and poultry and even diapers if you're a young family. And
right.
so I wanted to get the word out because that's a safety net for crime, right? That food pantry is actually a safety net for crime prevention in District 7. And so I
Okay.
partner with them and we give, it's 24/7. It's to
That's good.
all residents.
Okay. Okay. I received the letter, or but I wasn't able to pull it up. That you're doing something for the summertime in District 7 at one of
Yes.
the. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So what's coming up, the first initiative that's coming up is Parks After Dark. This
Okay.
is going to provide services to our children Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're doing it at College Park Elementary. That's
Okay.
very important. College Park Elementary. It was scheduled to take place at our new reimagined Level Green Park,
Okay.
which is in the construction stage, and we are working tirelessly, making sure that we can have that up and ready as soon as possible. I cannot give you the projected date because
Mm,
I'm working with Parks and Rec, and they're really in charge of that project. And once they give me the date of its completion, then I'm going to make that announcement to all of District 7. But in the meantime, we are grateful that we can have Parks After Dark. And that initiative was born out of making sure that our children who, as you know, are out of school could
mhm.
have food. It's free food,
Okay.
activities, and just a sense of community. And so you're going to have department heads from Parks and Recs. You're going to have police, fire, EMS, and small businesses who support our community, who's going to show up and be present at Parks After Dark. So
Okay.
that's our first initiative that's coming up this week.
Okay. And the time that that opens and in for that program. Every,
So we have, and you can correct me on this time and just check me, but
mm,
I know Parks After Dark usually starts towards the evening hours.
uh-huh.
And so the evening hours could fall from 5 to 8 p.m. But I would like to make sure that those dates and times or those times are correct. But the evening hours is
Mm.
what we're going to do Parks After Dark.
Okay. I want to bring my co-hosts in. One of my colleagues from Old Dominion University when I used to do WODU studio broadcasting. Now working Simply C. How you doing?
Hello. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
And introduce yourself to City Councilman Virginia Beach District 7 Green. So he has
Hello.
Hello.
So I'm Simply Cece. I do videos, as in I have a small production company. I stream games, so this is kind of my setup I use for Twitch. And I work with Henderson Vaughn, trying to connect with community members who are making a difference and connect them to my audience as well, which is kind of college children or high teenagers, to let them know what's happening out here.
Well, that's wonderful.
yeah.
That is wonderful. That's needed.
Yes.
Yeah. So with you just this is your first year on City
Yeah.
Council.
Yeah.
How do you feel that the community is responding to you? Uh,
You know what a great
mm,
question, because I ran on people over politics, and I mean that.
mm,
I go where the people are at, where there are needs. That's where I'm going to go. I don't give in to party lines. I
mm,
give into, if a child is hungry, that's where I'm going to go, and I'm going to search out how can I get the money to the families that need it. That's my theme. And so today, every Tuesday, I do what is called I visit small businesses. And so
okay.
Tuesdays from 10 to 11, I visit small businesses in District 7. Um, that's one way for me to show my support for small businesses. Today, we highlighted A Plus Mailbox and More,
Okay.
which is located in District 7. And that is a veteran owned small business. It's family owned and operated. And so we did a 20-minute podcast with them just to show our support, that we're listening, and that we're just getting their feel for how they are connecting with the community. Which brings me into what you asked me. How is the community receiving me? I
Mm-hmm.
would think they see that I haven't changed, that I've been what I said I was going to do when I was campaigning. I was going to be with the people, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be with the people. So my agenda is the people.
Yeah, that's the important thing. And when it comes to dealing with the community, like I tell people, I don't do politics because I'm not a politician. Or what I am is a human being that recognizes the need of the human race over politics. You know,
Yes.
we all have our own opinions, and everything is like a stage performance when you're campaigning. You know, we got to kiss the babies, we got to hug the ladies, and shake their hands with the gentlemen that might say, "I'm gonna give you a check to help you with your campaign." It's all about campaigning. But with
Right.
me is I look at the human, I look at people when I'm doing things because of my experience in working in the communities. I'm originally from Portsmouth, Virginia. When I moved to
Okay.
Virginia Beach, because my wife and I had separated, and she had moved to Virginia. She was originally from Virginia Beach, so she moved back. But I left and went to broadcasting school in New York. So when I came back, I had a job offer in New York, but I'm like, I ain't gonna have no man raising my kids. So
Right.
whatever it takes, I made a mistake. So let me, you know,
But
let's get part of that and make sure that the kids are taken care of.
but see, Mr. Vaughn, that's why I
Mm.
connected with you, because you're
Uh,
real, you're authentic.
right.
And I empower. Matter of fact, I empower leaders who are second chance leaders, right?
Okay.
I look for those who have been through some things that could really be a light to our community. That's
Right.
the people I'm going around tapping on the shoulder and
Mhm.
empowering them to be in service. Don't
Right.
hold your head down. You've got something to offer. You've got experience,
Right.
strength, and hope to offer our community.
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell people I may not be everybody cup of tea, but I don't, I drink tea because I'm a diabetic. So when it comes to kids, my agenda has always been
Yeah.
one thing: take care of the kids. They are the future. They are the ones that have to look and see which direction that's right for them. But if as the Bible says, if you train them while they're young, then they
Yeah.
won't go astray. So I have three sons that graduated from now four sons that graduated from Bayside High, you know,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
they and my one of my oldest sons, he's a principal in Virginia Beach, and his wife, you know. I think they're,
Yes.
so when we look at different things that young people go through, and I was always, steady when it comes to my kids, like, you're not going here, you're not going to do this, because the important thing is they have to be educated and trained in a way that make them understand what life is all about. It ain't a it ain't a big ball of fun and games, because everybody has an idea what they want to be, but a long ways down that road, you might change. I'm pretty sure. Uh, when did you decide to go into politics? What
Right.
age was you when you decided?
Well, I look back on my life and I started when I was 16.
Okay.
And I wasn't thinking about politics. And the word politics is just like what you said. I,
Mm.
if I didn't have to be called a politician, I wouldn't be a politician. I would
Right.
be the person I am now. Because at 16, I was one of the youngest ministers to preach at my church. At
Well,
16, I knew that I was called to be before God's people at
mm,
16. And then when I moved here in Virginia in 2015, I began to connect with the people, and I felt like I can represent the values of the people of Virginia Beach because I had experienced so much of my life. And
right.
so that's really why I ran for office, not because I was seeking some political chair or some political title. I ran because the people are important to me, all of them. And I
Right.
felt like their values needed more representation on all fronts, not just a political front,
Right.
but on food and sports tourism, which is, and I need to tell you guys this, my
Mm,
second initiative that I'm doing in July. I'm tying the community together through sports tourism or sports.
Okay.
I've partnered with NBA legend Joe Smith, and we are going to have a basketball camp for our kids, and that's going to be starting in July 7th at
Okay.
the Sports Center. You can go on Joe Smith Basketball Academy.com and you can see his flyer. That's our way to engage our youth, our small kids, and not just about sports, but we're going to do an educational proponent as well. I'm thinking through this. This has been something that's been in my heart for a long time. Not politics just doesn't make me be this person. I've been this person since I was 16.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing is people thinking that when you jump into something, it's all about prestige. But when God gives you a gift, He gives you a gift to do His will, and that will is to lead. They call them shepherds or sheep to the righteous way, and as me, like when I was growing up, as you mentioned, you was 12. People will always tell me, "You're going to be a minister. You're going to be a preacher." And I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you think. Okay, I don't know. I wound up being a DJ, but my training as a DJ, because I had great DJs in the area like Bob Fields, who's no longer with us, and managers like Harry Bonner, Winky the Hitman. All these people were like mentors, but my biggest mentor was my pastor at Fourth Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
I studied his rhythms, how he spoke, how he speaks to people,
Mm-hmm.
and I do the same thing in the clubs. Is I'm just my pulpit is the DJ booth,
That's
but
right.
I'm connecting with people because of the way I create the atmosphere and the character I become.
That's
So
right.
it's really about connecting with the audience and bringing about a way that they can see themselves
Mm-hmm.
uh, with things.
That's correct. That's great.
So
I would love to have you involved with the Joe Smith Basketball Academy. That's something new that we're doing in
mhm,
the city of Virginia Beach, where
okay,
we've partnered with the NBA legend. Joe Smith has agreed to want to come to Virginia Beach to unite our kids who are very talented
right.
and speak and give his experience, strength, and hope. And so we're doing a new initiative, and we're going to need all the support we can, groundswell, to really reach our kids, let everyone know that we're doing this initiative so that we can really set our kids up for success.
Well, that's a great idea. I would like to speak more with you later on that, being a part of that. I personally know Joe Smith. I haven't spoken to him since I might see him on text him on Facebook or something. I know most of the celebrities in the area because they all used to come to my club
Right,
when I had it, and they always was respect the fact to come to the club and show some love to the community. You know,
right.
where people as you go out campaigning or meeting people after you get to office, it's a delight for people in an area that may not never meet a star to look up and say, "Wow, that's can I get a picture?" And they shake their hands, they talk to them, and that's important. You know,
That's right.
and our young people, they sometimes may not ever get that opportunity, and that's my initiative with what my campaign is, in which I'm getting ready to launch sometime in June or July myself, because of medical condition. It kind of threw me off track, just getting back into being able to see, being able to walk. A lot of stuff goes
Wow.
on when you get old, but as I tell people, that's the enemy attacking you, because when
Mm,
you're on God's payroll, the enemy is coming for you. Don't think it's
mm,
going to be an easy walk. So
mm,
even when I come down to city council and I speak, because it's about bridging the gap so that we all can find a fine line to get together and say, we don't want to keep losing young people
That's
out of
it.
leaving this area, or
That's it.
lose young people to gun violence. I
That's
mean,
it.
that's the key point. That everything else is secondary. All
That's
this,
it.
I don't like this, I don't like that, and you're doing this. Well, we got to cross one bridge at a time, you know. And life is more important than most of everything else. With everything that's going on in the world, that's already been foretold. It's in Scripture. Everything that you see that's going on is in the Bible.
Right.
But they have to stay focused, because the enemy is his thing is in Scripture that he's to search out and devour and destroy.
That's
And
right.
you see with everything that's going on, everybody's against each other and this and stuff. And but what about the main part? What about the young people? What's their legacy? Where are they going to fit into the city? Where are they
Yeah.
going to fit in when they finish school?
You've said something that's near and dear to my heart.
Mm,
One of the reasons why I wanted to run for office was the ability to collaborate with others. Right.
right.
True sportsmanship is very important to me. And so we're going to teach that to the children. How, if we compete against each other, that we can still shake hands.
Right.
That art is being lost. And so if you compete against someone, then you want to turn and shoot them, or you want to turn and fight against them or cuss them out.
Right.
Not realizing that the same people that you may have cussed out, you've got to see them at Food Lion, at the grocery store, or in some place that we commonly have to meet. This is called community.
Yes.
I have a question related to your basketball camp.
Yes.
Is that something that is open to the public, or are you guys going to be charging the students?
It is open to the public. There is a $99 charge that Joe Smith Basketball Academy is charging for the week. But we have we have sponsorships and people who have said that they will sponsor 10 kids.
Okay.
I will tell you that if some child or youth wants to go to that camp, we'll find a way.
Okay. I just thought to ask, ODU did something similar last summer where they spent 2 weeks out of the summer doing a camp with our men's basketball coach. And they allowed the athletes who were on practice in the summer to be mentors to the kids. They did charge those kids, but I feel like they got a really good experience. So I think this would be a good opportunity for the community in Virginia Beach.
Thank you. And we spoke with council at length, and I said to them, I wanted to unite the kids. I wanted to unite the community. And believe it or not, sometimes sports can be that uniter. It is competitive, but nevertheless, it at least will unite us that if we're behind the kids, then we're behind the kids for one purpose.
Right.
And that's really the driving point of me being in office. I'm a uniter. I'm not a divider. I look for more ways in which we have in common than I do that we don't. I'm married. And so in my marriage, my wife and I, we don't always agree, but that's still my wife. I still honor her. And I look for ways that we agree than I do than to look for ways that we don't agree.
Right. That's the thing. You know, we all might have different opinions, but everything should be, if it's one focus, it should be on the young people.
That's right.
You know, because when I talk to people, or when I was in college, and people like, and even in conversation, people like, well, if you could talk to somebody, this is to me, this is the most ridiculous question you can ask somebody. If you could talk to somebody dead, who would you want to talk to? And when you think about it, to me, my opinion, why would I want to talk to somebody dead when I got all these senior citizens in the senior home, 60 and 70 and 80 years old, that used to be professors and teachers and maybe doctors? Why can't I talk to them when I can't? The person that's dead ain't gonna resurrect. I can pretend that I heard his voice. We talk to them.
Well, I want to give you an opportunity. My third initiative is I've adopted the Sands Seniors Living Home, and that's located on Auburn Drive. That's in College Park.
Okay.
I'm having my birthday party there, which is on June 27th. That's a Friday,
Okay.
from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the residents are about 100 seniors there who have these extensive professional backgrounds, and they don't have many family members visiting them,
Right.
and so they have been left alone. But I've since 2024, I have adopted them, and they become my family. And so I'm not really celebrating my birthday. I am bringing awareness of the Sands Senior Living Facility, our home.
Right.
Uh, so to your point, sir.
Yeah. Because I once, when my doctor told me I couldn't work anymore, and I had to, rely on the city of Virginia Beach for, for some help. And that's when I went and got my GED down at social service. And after that, we had to volunteer somewhere, so I volunteered to work in this senior citizen place. Because like I
Yes.
tell you, everything is a learning experience. So when I work and I'm looking, and I'm like, the kids drop them off at 8 o'clock in the morning. When they get off work, they come and pick them up. But the whole time that they're sitting there, when we are not other people that's working, they're engaging with them. They sleeping, and nobody's talking to them, and so the lady would, I'm always singing when I'm in, when I'm working. So they were like, well, could you sing for the seniors and stuff? So I was saying, I said, well, I really don't sing the gospel. I don't really, I'm a DJ, but I don't really do that kind of music. Because I'm used to singing in the choir,
Yeah.
and they would look forward to doing that. But at the same time, as a DJ, they said, well, can you make us a CD? And I said, okay. That played for about 30 minutes before they're like, whoa, take that off. What is that? All those senior citizens thought they was 16 again.
Well,
But like I tell people, music is the combination of bringing people together.
well, Allie Rose is going to be teaching for those who can do it and they're physically able.
Right,
Boots on the ground.
right.
We're doing it.
I don't have
Yeah,
a fan,
yeah.
but I would have done the fan thing.
It's Allie Rose is a good friend of mine. She's
Yeah.
very excellent in her skills, and like I said, it's all about bringing people together. I
Mhm.
don't I don't look at race, creed, or color. Like I tell people, I'm an artist. There's only 8 boxes. You get a crayon box. There's only 8 colors in that box, and white is not one of them. When you get ready to mix paints in fine arts, you cannot use black. You have a special tube of color. I forgot the name. I don't have the name right in front of me now. That's that you have to use to mix. With black and white, they're called hue colors. You take the other 6 colors, you can mix it with white, and then you can mix it with black. With that combination, you can make 1 million colors on the spectrum. That's how many colors those 8 colors will make with white and black.
Incredible.
1 million colors. So when we look at trying to get into this black and white thing, no, we're melanated. Black people have 16 colors. We have 16 colors to make up our skin. On Caucasian people, they're not white, they're Caucasian. They only have 4 colors. When you paint them, you use what you call a flush tone, and you mix it with all the other 6 colors. So it's just knowing how to do all these things and to educate people in the right way, because there's no color to feelings. Why would I insult you and hurt your feelings and make you try to belittle you or try to make you feel less human than, we've been through that. We know what that's all about for 400 years, and we're still going through it now, even worse. But like I said, God sits high, he looks low. So that's not in my realm, that's in God's realm. But what we have to do being God's children is to try to work and get everybody to understand one another. It's a melting pot. That's all it is.
It is. I appreciate everyone. I have a city council meeting at
Yeah.
1 p.m.
Right.
I'm so sorry I have to run,
Yeah.
but I've got to run the city.
No doubt. And it's good. I'm glad you decided to come on, and hope that you'll be able to come on again. Like I said, it's just my talk show is for communications. It's just like sitting on your front porch, having a conversation, not feeling threatened about what I say. I may not be right about everything I say. I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to make sure that young people live to get as young as get as old as we are. That's the main focus on what I do. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. And I hope that you come back again. And you got any closing comments, Simply C?
So I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I appreciate the person that you are, and thank you for your co-host of having me. And I would look forward to doing more collaborations because that's what I'm about.
Okay.
So thank you for an opportunity to collaborate, for us to find some commonality, and let's look forward to building our youth to be stronger, with more resilience and vitality.
No doubt. Once again, thank you so much, City Council of the 7th District in Virginia Beach, Cash Green. As they say, don't be so mean in rap. But keep smiling, and hopefully that temperaments can calm down and people can join hands and work across party lines or whatever line that might be. All I know is young people are dying and ain't too many people crying.
Come on.
So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. But once again, thank you so much, and I hope you'll be able to come back again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, that was Cash Green, and like I said, he was able to come on and spend a little time with us, and I hope that someday that we can move forward with the things that we try to accomplish in the in the area. Simply C,
Yes.
how you doing? For those that may not know, I want to send a mad shout out to Amzie Vaughn Johnson, who graduated from Bayside High in Virginia Beach. I call him Mr. Melody Man on Facebook. He's charmed in. How you doing? And appreciate the opportunity of all those that come on the show. And it's just the fact is there's so many things that need to be done and tried to accomplish when it comes to our future generation. And Simply C, I know you do a podcast. Tell people a little bit about your podcast.
I'm actually debating starting it back up again because I see that there's a need for it, for exactly why I created it, based off the last conversation we had with the poolside talk show lady, where people talk to people behind why they start their business or what it takes to run their business. But that's what I used to do. And now I focus on videography and creating content for my friends and family, as well as business opportunities as they come, and streaming for video games. Just different, I guess, creative ways to make money.
Right. Well, it's important for, you have to make money in order to run a business, because a business is not charity. A business is to make money and to try to get the right combination of people to support the brands that you come up with. And it's somewhat always not easy, depending on what level of business that you're trying to open and operate. Because when people open up nightclubs, they thinking that's any business, don't matter if it's nightclub,
That's
restaurant.
true. In any business, people think that
their friends gonna come and just dump their pocketbook. It don't work that way. It does not work that way. You have to build that brand, and the most people that you think is going to support you is the ones that don't show up.
There's that. I've been blessed where my friends and family have been really supportive.
Right.
They've seen me work in I should have known that this was coming from childhood because my
Uh-huh.
mom was into cinematography. My aunt also, except my aunt pursued it professionally.
Uh-huh.
My mom kind of just taught me her skills. My grandmother used to work in communications, so I kind of grew up around um, the things that make me successful today.
Okay.
So my family, I was able to photograph my cousin's wedding years ago. I've done a couple of graduations, and they give me money for that as well. So
Okay. Yeah. I also want to send a shout out to one of my dearest friends out of the Bronx, Miss Annette, who's
one,
listening in as well. Uh, what I try to get people to understand about anything that we try to do and accomplish, that we all need support in some areas, in some areas when we start a business. Everybody is seen like they're entrepreneurs now, and when if you give up, you can't win.
right, and that's part of it. And then knowing how to balance yourself between if the business isn't necessarily working right now, that doesn't mean to stop it, but that also doesn't mean to stop trying to seek income.
Right.
Some people will drop their income and focus on a business that's at the ground level,
Hmm.
and that's not what you should do. And you shouldn't gripe about your opportunities that you have for pay because you have an income. I like to look at things like a millionaire has at least 7 streams of income. If I have four, I'm not doing enough.
Right.
If I have two of them are jobs and two of them are, I used to do surveys a lot for gas money. That's a stream of income. I used to get um, a stipend just for going to school. That was a stream of income I didn't have to work for.
Right.
So,
When you working, you just
I mean,
hitting the
I
pot.
was working, I was a student, but
Yeah.
it wasn't as I didn't have to work as hard, I felt like, for that money as it felt like I
Right.
had to for the other opportunities that I did have.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think people and their perspectives about it will tell you who's ready for business and who's just it's okay if you just need to work. But
Hmm.
just know that you should have pride in what you do. If you're going to be a business owner, be proud about your business. Have an expectation for excellence. If you're going to work somewhere, have an expectation and be the best person that you can be there.
Yeah. That's a key point. When I work or manage a club and I hire people, I'm going to observe what you're doing. Like people like, why are you cleaning up the club? And you got all these people. You got about 8 people.
Mhm.
One, I'm going to leave and go home and take a shower and come back and change clothes.
Mhm.
They ain't gonna be able to do that. So why would I want them to sweat, knowing that I'm gonna have a major crowd in here, and they're gonna be maybe feeling like, hey, I'm funky, I done cleaned up, and
Mhm.
did this. I don't want that. I want them to be fresh. I want them to be just like the customer when they walk in. That
Mhm.
somebody gonna say, hey, you look nice. So all those key components. Like I tell people, I don't have no problem picking up paper or sweeping the floor.
Right.
Because they're like, yo, man, you the manager, you the owner, man. Why you looking like that? Because I want them to see what it takes to
Right.
be a manager. It
Right.
ain't
That's
just
yeah.
walk around in a suit, you know, giving, throwing directions and bossing people around. It's a
Right.
it's a important for people to be able to understand that it's not just about me. It's about these people have to come in here and work and take care of family. They give up being home. My staff in any club I work gave up and sacrificed coming to work at 8 o'clock and may not leave till 5 in the morning.
Mhm.
They away from their kids and
Mhm.
they working. This is their second job.
Yep.
And you're telling me that,
I need to be
oh,
entitled about their presence. That's not what
yeah,
that means. Yeah.
it's about teamwork makes the dream work. That ain't no joke. Because without my staff that I had at any club, I
Mhm.
could not make it work. I could not make it work. And the customers, the loyal customers you have. I mean, I ran clubs 7, 5, 8 years, 14 years. With Picasso's, it was 14 to 15 years there,
Mhm.
you know. So when people don't truly understand, that's why when uh, I did get, disabled in a sense, couldn't work as
Mhm.
strenuous as long as I could, because the only person I wasn't home with was Alexander. That's the only child I was home with when I stopped working. All
Mhm.
my other kids were grown. And the difference is, I'm protected. And my wife, even he's grown now. I'm like, oh, why are you calling him there? He ain't calling you. Because I'm gonna call him. It ain't got nothing to do with it. It's just that they're still my children. I still want to check on them, make sure they're okay.
That's true.
Anything I
You
do.
sound like my granddad because he does the same thing with us sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the key component is you don't get a child but one. You might have many, but
Mhm.
each one is going to be different and unique in
Mhm.
their characteristics. And I remember when my son that Alex next to Kendrick, who stays in Florida, and he said to me one time, and this is when he was grown. He was like, "Yo, Dad, you know, when I was in elementary school and I was in a play,
Mm.
and you told me you was gonna come and see me, and you didn't come, and I was looking for you. And what could I say? I was at work
Mhm.
because I had to take care of. That's the way I pay the bills.
A
I
child
could
doesn't understand that, and that
right.
really affects your relationship with them.
Yeah, but that's now that he was grown. He was
Yeah.
like 20 some years old when he said that. I understood. I mean, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be at a lot of places that when it comes to my kids or people that I tell something to, I'm going to show up. If I tell you I'm going to be there, nothing's going to stop me from coming, even if I don't stay but 5 or 10 minutes.
Mhm.
It's the fact is I told you I was coming, and
Mhm.
the word is more important and just as important as the action. So
Mhm.
when we look at our youth today, they're looking for somebody to say, I'm going to show up for you.
Mhm.
If they're doing something wrong, are you going to tell them they're doing something wrong, or are you going to bag them up even when they're doing something wrong?
Right.
So this is the general how we're losing a lot of young people because they really don't feel love. If you
Yeah.
don't feel love, I tell you right now, that'll destroy everything that you want or destroy everything you already got
Mhm.
when you don't feel love. And
That's true.
that's with young people, everybody has a different opinion. I'll just buy them something. I'll buy them a new game. I'll take them to the park. You know, I went to the park. I went to the park more with Alexander than any of my children.
Mhm.
Because I wasn't working. I didn't have a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
I didn't. I wasn't even in the club. You know, like that. I want to go to the park, and believe me, he want to go to the park. He wants to go to the park, and we'll
Mhm.
be out there at least 2 hours. You
Mhm.
know, where normally I couldn't do that with the other kids, and I try to pay it forward with the grandkids. You
Mhm.
know, but they be like telling me what to do. I don't want to do that. Why not? So, oh, it's like that now. But then go on to your other grandparents. I'm gonna chill. No, they don't. They real nice. I got real. I've been blessed to have great grandkids
Yeah.
and grandkids and great grandkids. So like I keep telling people, when you live to get 3 generations of grandkids, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
And we try to make sure that the people you run into, that their kids can grow up and be the same.
Yeah.
And it's sad because every time you turn on the news, somebody's dying.
That's why I don't watch the news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watch because that's the way I develop stuff.
Mhm.
I develop my comic book characters, and you know to try to figure out a way to reach young people about
Mhm.
what's on the radio and what's on television to
Mhm.
change their mindset. But you got to give them an alternative. You got to be able to get them to focus on the solution, to try to find a solution instead of they
Mhm.
creating a problem. You
That's
know,
true.
the problem ain't winning. you
Right.
know, it's not winning. So when is your next episode with your podcast, or when
That's
you're
gonna
gonna?
be at least a month. I'm spending June stocking footage so that I can build my other channels. My Simply CC channel is a little bit inundated, but I had a cooking idea where I take social media recipes and recreate them. So
Okay.
I've been working on that. And I had started with just vlogging to get in the habit of filming again, but that's the next plan.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a cooking show, but I don't want to get no recipes away.
Oh, I'm using social media recipes.
Oh,
The
okay.
family recipes stay in the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I could tell you how to fix soul food. You fix
See?
soul. You fix soul food by singing.
Yep.
That's
You
the
just
only
got
way.
to get into it. That's the
Right.
only way to make good food.
Yeah, you can't make it no other way. You know, as my great aunts and uncles say, you put your foot in that one. You know, when you sit down at the table eating fried chicken, or you eating something that you thought it was fried chicken and it won't, because you didn't have nothing else to eat. You
Yeah.
know, and people talk about cheese sandwiches, man. Sometimes that's all you had.
Yeah. There's
You know?
nothing wrong with it. You can make that taste good too.
Oh
I
yeah,
used to take what they call a cheap meal and make it bougie.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can tell people I can take kids to the store with $30 and buy enough. I can buy food for 3 days.
Mhm.
3 days with $30, and you have a full-course meal. You just got it. The most important, you know what the most important thing is about fixing meals that you got to have?
I'm not sure where you're gonna go. I'm thinking the ability to stretch it.
Well, I mean, in order to make a 3-course meal, you know, how do you do it is that you have to look for the meats you want. So if you can take from six, three something, let's say $12 out of 30, you got 3 meals for a day. And you'll have leftovers if you do it right. So you need 3 meats. 3 meats will give you three meals, dinner meals for the week. Then you will have some leftovers, so that kind of give you 5 meals out of the 3, because depending on how many people in the family and how much you're going to stretch the, if you're doing spaghetti, or if you're doing manwich, if you're just making if you got fried chicken, you got so much you can make. Because like I said, my dad was out of work for 7 years, and we'll be badly lucky if we got a bowl of oatmeal every day for dinner. It won't even for breakfast, dinner. Because once you begin to study and do these researches and stuff, and plus we had family in North Carolina, they had farms. So when you go down there, they give you like 8 chickens. Then you had to come back and you hold the chicken, and your mom cut the head off, and the chicken flying with all that blood.
My dad knows what that is. I'm so glad I didn't never know.
It's a lot of things that these young people today don't have to go through. They just want to roll up to McDonald's.
And that's not even chicken.
Hello.
Yeah.
I ain't saying. So when we get to the ingredients of stuff, it's a lot that they don't understand about how we have to stretch, and the meals that we are getting today is not really, say food that we grew up on. So it's always important to try to show young people to stretch food that you can afford to eat, and going out to eat is a luxury. It's not a necessity,
and it's not good for you unless you're investing in it.
Right?
That makes sense. Yeah,
if you got stock in McDonald's or Burger King,
that's different. That's when it's good for you.
Right. Keep the stock rolling.
Yep.
You're gonna get some dividends.
That food, it messes your body up. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Exercising, gotta go to the gym. Then you got diabetes. Then you got to take measures for the rest of your life. Every person on this planet is already targeted to be a donor to something else. When you intake something, and the doctors are very convincing. You really need to take this medication.
I told my doctor I will give you. What did I tell her? I give most things a year for a full change because I'll do
Right,
the work. I just
right,
also want to give it time to be a lifestyle change and not go back. And she heard me. She actually listened to me. This is the first doctor I've had that actually is paying attention. So
right.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying with what I go through, and with the conditions of my body. And the only thing I'm doing is taking about 8 to 9 vitamins a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not eating out a lot, occasions, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not eating a lot of fast foods, and I'm not cooking a lot of foods that's not healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're gonna tell me my circumstances come from what?
It's
You
probably
know,
from the past. How were you living like with
yeah.
your
But
lifestyle?
I never been one to eat a lot. I cut out. I was drinking a lot of sodas at one time. I had about 12 cases of sodas in my house. I'm talking about 24 cans,
Yeah.
12 cases, and it never,
So-
and those cases never went under 10. I don't,
see.
and I'm drinking sodas at work because if you saw some of my pictures when I was in the club,
Uh-huh.
I'm big,
At the time, but yeah, that's just because you had a lot of sugar.
right?
Yeah.
But when I start cutting back, like now, my belt, I can almost put my belt around me twice.
Right.
Because I only eat salads
Mm-hmm.
and fruit. And like I tell people, I'm not eat I've been doing this almost for ever since I had COVID when I
Mm-hmm.
came out of the hospital. And you're gonna tell me, well, because you're a diabetic. No, 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 no. That doesn't work that way. If I'm not eating something, how's me be just because you labeled me as a diabetic, that something major have to happen to my body. When
Right.
I'm in the gym exercising and
Mm-hmm.
all that, I'm drinking 12 to 16 glasses of water a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even I might drink a half can, the little small cans like this now.
Mm-hmm.
I might drink 1 or 2 of those a week,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's not that when we go, and I've been to doctors, and my doctors say if they tell you, like with high blood pressure pills, and I had a specialist, and he said, look, I don't care what nobody tell you, never take them. Because
Mm-hmm.
once you take those high blood pressure
You're kind of
pills,
stuck, or your
you are
body's
on it
just
for the rest of your life.
right.
And the doctors will get mad with me talking about, well, you need to take him.
Right.
Your kidneys going to go bad. Well, I tell you what, at least they're going bad on their own.
Right.
They got all kinds of scenarios, but this is why we have to invest more into our young people, because you don't know when it comes to anything, it's the young people that's going to hold the key to the future.
Mm-hmm.
You can only guide them down the road and hoping that they pay attention to all the things that you try to educate them on,
Mm-hmm.
so they can be a grown up and not be in the pipeline to prison.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing with the United States. The people in prison is the one that's free labor because they only get 20 cents or 25 cents a day
Right.
for working 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Well, they're
nobody,
not doing anything with their money at the time either.
well, they ain't got no money.
Yeah.
What you talk about? 25 cents a day. That means that you got about $30. You might have $30 in your canteen. You got to buy your toothpaste, your soap. Come on now.
Yeah.
If nobody's sending you the money, come on.
That's it.
Because I used to send people that come to my club. If they
Mm-hmm.
was, if I found out they was in prison, locked up, I would send them money for their canteen.
See, when you say it like that, I understand why people do
Right.
it. Yeah.
And the horrors of being in prison,
I don't even want to know.
you know,
I've heard some stories from
yeah,
family, and I just,
yeah, they real.
yeah.
And because I've talked to prisoners and that come out. One young man, I got him in a video on my page. He said, I was in prison from the age of 16.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was talking to him, he said, I just got out of prison a month ago. And I'm 30-some years old. And I was telling him about my comic book. That's how the conversation started. He said, let me tell you something, Cal. He said, can you promise me one thing? I said, if I can, because I don't know what the promise is.
Right.
He said, promise me that you will never give up on young people. They do not want to go in that monster. Let them know that is a monster they don't want to be in. He said, I would not have survived if it wasn't for this old head was in prison that kept the other prisoners away from me. So you please explain to them that is not a vacation.
Right.
You know, so like I tell people, I've been working in this. I just started putting some of the videos that, you know, are award shows of. I just put one up today of Adam. You know, my other son next to Alexander, and when he was, because he's like him and Alexander's like intelligent. You know, their gifts, you know, awards they get in school. I think Adam graduated from Bayside High at 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
He left to go to DC to go to the buyer at 17. He was on his own at 17 years old. Wow. Up in DC. He worked there for 2 years, and I got video and footage of different things that he was doing, and I edited him because it's about history. You know, as you see the world, what they're doing now in the United States is trying to erase our history and stuff. But like I tell people, I got hours of video footage of young people in the clubs, young people that now have their own kids. You know what I'm saying? And people are like making comments on the videos that they can see, that they can show to their kids. You know, and that's, you know, that's the pleasure of being able to show people when you was 20 or 22, when people are like, you know, compared to the 22-year-old today, it's a whole different ball game.
And there's more opportunities today.
Right.
Yeah.
And they need to see that. They need to see going to college can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, getting a GED and furthering your education can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But a gun ain't one. A gun is not one.
It's just exposure. They're not exposed to a lot of the same. They're getting better about it, at least from the leadership that I've seen. Right. And that's why organizations are so important. And that's another reason I asked them if the event would be open to the community or if there was a charge to it. That's the barrier between a lot of opportunities and some people. But I appreciate that they have sponsorships and other opportunities to help kids, because that's all it is. If they don't have that, if they don't have the funds, then they don't necessarily have the exposure. But that's where we can help, and we can come back and say, hey, well, it's only $100. I got you. That's not going to hurt me more than it'll, you know, it won't take away from your family. So we need you to get exposed. We need you out here with my friends whenever we have an opportunity. Oh, like, was it Sunday? Sunday. There was a creator that I worked with, affiliated with a different creator. And they did something, I'm going to say this word a third time, basically a content creators day, where they took a space in downtown Portsmouth, and he invited a bunch of local people who do filming, modeling, acting, and we all just made content for about 4 or 5 hours. And it was so much fun. And it got us connected with, he's an artist, or not an artist, I'll call him an entertainer, because I don't know that he's necessarily a comedian, but he's like an entertainer actor who's gone viral. Top Rope Zeus.
I don't know.
I didn't hear about him either. He's from here. He's from Norfolk, but he's gone viral. I filmed his egg video, and that went viral too. So that was a cool opportunity. And then to see a few familiar faces that we've already worked on other stuff before, be it from acting in another project together, or my cousin's best friend was there. I bring my friends to those opportunities, and then we see, like, we connect each other's circles. We meet new people together. It kind of takes from that anxiety, so we're not intimidated to go on our own either. And it makes it fun.
Oh, okay. Well, the time has come. We got to run.
It's the hour already.
Yeah. And I want to thank you once again for sitting in the co-host chair, Simply C. And give your podcast again and let people know where they can, support you at.
So the podcast is simply First Class Podcast, and the YouTube channel for food that I'm working on is called You're Making Me Hungry.
Just by the title, I just want to get a cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
All right. Well, to those, don't forget to share this with your people on your social media platform, and if not, just email it to them or text it to them from your phone. But until the next time we meet, to the next time we greet, remember to love yourself with God first. And I'll see you at 3 to 5 with the best music on the planet on frequency distribution with Captain 85. Until then, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
Peace.